Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett does this every year. He, on Saturday, takes over an entire arena. And that's not even big enough for all of the faithful people. They have overflow places where people that can't even see him on the big screen, in that huge arena, go and watch him in a remote viewing spot. I mean, it's crazy, but he is extremely popular. He's done well by a lot of people, and they give him a ton of respect, which he deserves. I'm not going to say anything bad about Mr. Buffett. He did sell 13% of his portfolio that was holding Apple, Pete. Were you surprised by that?
I was a little bit surprised. I think he's probably a little disappointed. I think he's like the rest of us, John. He probably felt like Tim Cook and what's going on in China itself, but also Tim Cook being a little bit late to this whole world of AI. And I say that also with the backdrop of they've made a lot of acquisitions in AI, but the problem is they were all last year, and that's going to take time. And that's the reason they're still a little bit late. But so no, the 13% actually makes some sense to me, John. He also completely got out of Paramount at a loss. He just said, you know what? We didn't see it. We're out of that one. I think this is what stood out for me, though. So Mr. Buffett and Berkshire, they got $188 billion in cash. Now, that's quite a cash hoard. He actually added by saying, I wouldn't be surprised if we're over 200 billion in the not too distant future. So he's still kind of cautious. He's still kind of pulling back just a little bit, John. But as he said, he says, we do not make fatal mistakes, which is a great thing to talk about a little bit, because when you see what Buffett's done over his career, and it's a long career, so he's done it for a long period of time, and he's been right far more often than wrong. That's why he stayed away from the fatal mistakes. And you know what? I think he looks at Apple not as a fatal mistake. He looks at it as, well, we maybe hung on a little bit long. They were stopping some of the growth. They weren't getting into China the way that we expected. And that's just a whole process that they've got to go through. So trimming it up, I think that's probably a disciplined decision for them to make. And I think Mr. Buffett, if he says it, John, for the most part, I don't think he's always right, but I think that guy's got a decent enough track record that I'm going to probably listen to him when he speaks.
I always do. And I think you're exactly right, Pete. He also showed the discipline that Pete and I preach about all the time, folks, because Paramount didn't work. He gave it a little bit more time. Whatever, Skydancer or whatever that other, Larry Ellison's son, his company, to come in. Nobody has been able to push this price up high enough to even get him back to break even. So he finally just said, cut it, move on. Let's get to the next thing and let's do better next time.